Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So this is the POCO F4 GT. This is the newest phone from POCO. It's releasing in Europe and in Southeast Asia pretty soon. This phone is priced reasonably well. Right now there are early bird specials. I think that starts from April 27th to May 7th. So if you order the phone within this window, you can get this POCO F4 GT starting at just 499 euros. That comes out to 530 US dollars. The price would jump to 599 euros after that early bird period, so that would be like what, 630 something dollars. But for 530 something dollars, you're getting a really damn good deal because this is a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 and you have a 120 Hz OLED panel and a typical glass sandwich construction. But that's not what this phone is about. The highlight of this phone are these pop-up buttons. There are two of them on the right side, but they're meant to be used like this as shoulder buttons when you're playing mobile games. So yes, this is actually a gaming phone. And on top of the shoulder buttons, POCO is also giving you the absolute best standards in storage and memory, so you can get the fastest read and write speeds. The storage is UFS 3.1 and it starts at 128 or 256 gigs of configuration. And the RAM, you get 8 or 12 gigs of RAM. They're LPDDR5 RAM. POCO also gave this phone a quad speaker system that are symmetrical. So there's a woofer and a treater on each side of the speaker grill, and the speaker grills are of equal size at the exact same position, so they are symmetrical. So that means you're pumping out full and equal sound on left and right side. And this is one of the best speakers I've heard at a phone at this price range, and in fact it can compete with most flagships. Now this panel is a 6.7 inch OLED panel with FHD plus resolution, so it's like 2400 by 1080 with refresh rate at 120 Hz. However, this is not an LTPO panel. That means refresh rate can either stay at 120 or 60. That's it. It can't go down to 1, it can't go down to 10. So it's not as power efficient as the flagship screens that we've been seeing in flagship phones. Maximum brightness is also a little bit lacking at 800 something nits, but considering that this is a gaming phone and most people probably aren't going to be playing games out and about in the middle of the sun, they'll be doing this inside, the screen brightness should be fine. The rest of the hardware is pretty good. You have a side mounted fingerprint scanner that also doubles as a power button on the right side of the phone. On the left side you have volume rockers that are in the middle, so they're easily reachable by your thumb or your other finger if you're holding it the other way. The bezels around the screens look symmetrical and the screen overall looks pretty good. Now one last thing POCO has done to make this phone a better gaming system is adding an enlarged cooling system in there with a larger copper sheet. I can tell this phone's thermals are definitely better than say in the Xiaomi 12 Pro because I ran the app 3D Mark and I ran a test called Wildlife Extreme Stress Test. So as the name implies, this is a heavy test that pushes all of the phone's resources and it runs it for 20 minutes. The Xiaomi 12 Pro could not finish that test because the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip in that phone kept overheating. That's what happens when a chip is being pushed to maximum power but the cooling system is not enough to allow it to dissipate heat. In that case, the chip will throttle itself and sometimes shut down an app. So this phone can finish that stress test without shutting down the app, and if you look at the score, it actually scores higher than my Galaxy S22 Ultra score. So going by benchmark numbers, this phone is definitely a top performer. And even just in real life, I've played games for a couple hours on this thing. The speakers are excellent. The shoulder buttons really add to the experience, and you even have a mic down at the bottom. So if you do like to talk trash when you're in the middle of playing Call of Duty, the mic will pick up your sound a little bit better. There's also a slide over menu called Game Turbo that you can activate when you're gaming that allows you to do things like take a screenshot easily, record your screen grab, and also change up your voice. So again, if you want to talk trash but you don't want people to identify you or something. Testing, can you hear me? Testing, can you hear me? Around the back you have a triple camera system headlined by a 64 megapixel main camera. That's actually pretty good. 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, that's respectable, you know, if you shoot with good sunlight, and a 2 megapixel macro sensor, and you guys know what I think of those like 2 megapixel lenses are kind of gimmicks. Now flip it to the front, you have a 16 megapixel front facing camera that does a good job. The cameras here are pretty decent for the price range, but nothing to write home about if you're used to flagship cameras like I am. The main camera will do a pretty good job with shallow depth of field, accurate colors. But when you're trying to shoot low light photos, this camera system is, obviously not gonna impress me because I'm used to using the absolute best of the best. But if I, take a step back from my kind of spoiled experiences and focus on the $500 something market, then the camera system is pretty good. Now, battery life isn't the greatest. The 4700 mAh cell can be considered big if it's a normal phone, but this is a gaming phone. So if you're playing heavy games like Genshin Impact or Call of Duty, a 2-3 hour session will drain half of the battery already. But the good news is you can top up this phone really fast because it includes a 120 watt charging brick. 17 minutes to go from 0 to 100. You just get quite a bit for your money because in addition to the brick, you also get a jelly case, and the phone comes pre-applied with a screen protector. So that means for €499, that's the early bird pricing, you're getting a pretty good screen. Not flagship, tip-top flagship quality, but it's good enough. Arguably the best speakers in any phone under $700-800 right now. Pop-up shoulder buttons that really add to the gaming experience, and a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip that is less likely to throttle than even flagship $1,000 phones. Even if you don't play games, this is a really good value for a almost flagship level phone that you can get for like $530 or if you missed the early bird pricing, $600 something. So yeah, that's about it for this review of the POCO F4 GT. I have a lot more content coming up, so please stay tuned and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.